video is my takeaway of my adopting Bitcoin experience at the conference. I only went for a day on Friday, and quite honestly, I was not very impressed, which is why I didn't go back the next day. It's all the stuff that I've been hearing for many years at these conferences. Just a bunch of stuff on decentralization, central control of the banks, how to become more familiar with Bitcoin and what it does. Not too many talks on the technology behind it, on the cryptology behind it, or any, also no forecasting on its future price or anything like that. It was a little bit more technical, but more or less repeating the same type of content that's been shared about Bitcoin since I started listening to or attending Bitcoin conferences in 2017, which I feel I was very late to. I was very late to the game, but nonetheless, I did attend, and I started to learn more and more about blockchain, which was the initial technology that inspired me to learn about the technology was the blockchain, even before I knew about Bitcoin, because I was a math major in university, and I was just always interested by numbers and science and technology. And as soon as I heard that there was a new technology called blockchain that was basically decentralized network and that took away control of central governments, I became very interested, and I started to learn more about the technology, not so much about crypto as a form of investing or trading, because at the time I didn't even know that was possible. So it was more for looking at a new layer of technology that would allow people to become sovereign in their own ways, whether it be through finance or housing, because you could basically apply blockchain to really anything in life that already exists. Blockchain is simply another layer of the internet that operates through decentralization. So I started to learn more and more about the technology. So I went yesterday thinking I would learn something new. On Friday, and I really didn't. So I happened to come home pretty early. I didn't go back the next day. I posted on my WhatsApp status a picture that I'm going to share here of someone selling orange juice at the conference for 4,000 sats or 4,000 satoshis, which is the smallest denomination of Bitcoin, where if you don't know, 100 million satoshis is equivalent to 1 Bitcoin. So very, very simple formula. If you want to find out how many satoshis you can buy, you would basically divide, and I'll share the formula here so you can try this for yourself, and I'm going to explain why you should try this out, and I think it's going to help you see it in a new perspective. Basically, everyone's focusing on the price of Bitcoin and not really wanting to understand the technology behind it or what it really is. And I feel that the people at the conference are in the same boat. The people at the conference, I feel, are more in it to ride the hype train, to ride the wave. I'm pretty sure there are a few people there that are very interested in the underlying technology behind blockchain. But I did feel that a lot of people are there more for the hype of what Bitcoin is doing, especially with its current price. Yeah, a lot of people are there for the hype, which is understandable. It's vanity. It's everywhere. But I listened to one conference or one talk where a guy who is from somewhere in Europe, he came to Salvador and he bought property. I'm not going to mention what his name is, because honestly I don't remember his name or really care. But he came here, he bought a few acres of property, but he bought it with Bitcoin. And he came here to the country, and he's sharing his story of how he sleeps in the hammocks, how he was hitchhiking, was basically living here in poverty, trying to build his hostel using Bitcoin. And in the back of my mind, I was like, you get a platform for this, because this is what everyone does. Everyone lives in poverty here. Everyone hitchhikes. Everyone sleeps in the hammock. Most people don't have running water. And he was like presenting this as if it was something we should admire him for. But this is everyone. This is most people in the country. They don't have running water. They don't have electricity. They sleep in the hammock. They have to hitchhike. And I don't know. I felt a sense of entitlement because this guy is European, and nothing against Europeans. I mean, my wife is European, but it is what it is. You have to speak the truth for what it really is. And I did feel a sense of entitlement at this conference from a lot of people. And they tend to forget. They didn't create Bitcoin. They don't control Bitcoin. And most likely they don't even understand Bitcoin. So back to my point with the story of the guy building the hostels here. He bought land in Bitcoin. He bought land using Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $30,000, and today it's $90,000. So you tell me, I don't have to tell you. You tell me if you think that was a good investment. You tell me if that was a smart investment to spend Bitcoin when it was at $30,000. I don't know. That's my own opinion. You might have yours, but that's what I believe. The other thing about the orange juice at the conference is that people are selling orange juice for 4,000 Satoshis, which, I don't know, it fluctuates the price obviously, but it's around $3, right? $3 to $4. And again, this is redundant. This is like an oxymoron to me, because people here are spending a lot of money to be at this conference, and it's about Bitcoin, and they're spending their Bitcoin buying things like hot dogs and orange juice and pupusas at the conference, which, you ask yourself, would you buy food? Would you buy hot dogs or pupusas or orange juice with gold? Would you buy food with gold? Or would you store your gold somewhere safe because it would appreciate in value over time? It always hedges fiat currency, or would you use the gold to leverage it for fiat so you can spend the fiat and keep the gold? So when I saw that, I was just like, I don't know if these people really understand what gold is, because when Bitcoin was created, you can read the white paper. There's no mention of Lightning. There's no mention of the Lightning Network. And that Lightning Network was created because the Bitcoin transactions are too slow. But did you ever think that maybe the transactions are slow on purpose? Maybe it's slow by design. Maybe Bitcoin, which I know the white paper mentions that it's a peer-to-peer cash system, but maybe Bitcoin was created to be the backbone, the underlying infrastructure for new payment systems using cryptology, which is what cryptocurrency is. It's basically code. It's cryptology. You can code it on a computer. That's what it is. It's mathematical formulas. It's something that no one owns. It's like you can't own it. You can only discover it. It was already there. You just put formulas together, and that's what you get. So back to the Satoshis thing, to help you understand a different perspective of what we're really dealing with here. People may focus on that the price of Bitcoin is $90,000, which is true. But if you convert that to Satoshis, you might have a clearer picture of what you're buying. When I mentioned that one Bitcoin is worth equivalent to 100 million Satoshis, you can easily find out what $1 is worth. Obviously, $1 is worth like 0.0000 something Bitcoin, but if you really want to find out what $1 can get you in Satoshis, it's over 1,000 Satoshis. When Bitcoin was at 20K, you can get over 5,000 Satoshis for your dollar. So think of it like this. When Bitcoin was worth 20K, with $1 you can buy orange juice because it's equivalent to 4,000 Satoshis or 5,000. Today in 2024, the same dollar, you need 4 more of them to buy the same orange juice. So what's happening to the dollar? In a matter of, I think it's been weeks or months since Bitcoin's gone from 20K to 90K, you have to pay 4 times for the same orange juice with the dollar if you didn't have Satoshis. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's something you have to really think about, which is like when I go back to the conference where people are just riding the hype train, they're not really understanding what they're spending. I mean, there were poker tables, people were playing poker with Bitcoin, they were buying orange juice and hot dogs and all this food with Satoshis. So a very easy way to figure that out. Use a formula, divide the dollar by the current price of Bitcoin and multiply it by 100 million. That will tell you exactly how many Satoshis you can buy with a dollar. And I say this because there's a reason why 100 million Satoshis is equivalent to 1 Bitcoin. And that's because I believe that in the year 2140, when the last Bitcoin is mined, it's very possible, if the dollar is still around, that a dollar might be equivalent to a Satoshi, right? So the people today, in theory, spend $4,000 on the orange juice. Yeah, I know it's like a crazy theory. It's very far out, but what I'm getting to at is more of the concept of what's actually happening with cryptocurrency and blockchain. There's a lot of scams out there, of course, because anytime there's anything good that's invented by a human being, other people that are evil and deceitful are going to go and take that thing that is good and make it bad and use it to their advantage and fool the people that don't educate themselves. It's very common, and it happens with everything. It happens with the internet, happens with money, happens with freedom, happens with everything. Lastly, El Salvador is in a very good position because we are legalized. We have made Bitcoin legal tender, and also you can have a Binance account here. You can trade cryptocurrencies at ease. Most people don't, maybe because they're not aware still. But yeah, I mean, that's my takeaway for the conference. I was not very impressed at all. I feel there was a lot of people there just with their egos when they have no understanding of what Bitcoin and blockchain really is. I'm not saying I do, but I think I understand it a little bit more fundamentally in a mathematical sense, which is why I never spend my Bitcoin. I've mined Bitcoin since 2017 in New York, which wasn't a smart move, but I took a risk. I got into the business, I got into mining, and I held on to it. I never sold it because I understand the intrinsic value of it. I understand that it's a deflationary asset. It's something that's going to increase in value over time, unlike the dollar, which is inflationary. So with understanding and knowledge comes more clarity, and it's easy. It's harder for you to be fooled and swindled by companies or platforms that you think are good, and maybe they have a good logo or good marketing. You invest your money into them, and then they take your money, they pull the rug, and you're broke. And now you think Bitcoin is bad. Then you think blockchain is bad. But yeah, you need a lot of time to invest in your education when it comes to these technologies and sciences. And I think that's about it as far as my feedback for this conference that I went to for a day or like half a day. And yeah, I mean, we're positioned very well here in the country again, like I said, but you need to understand it. You need to understand the opportunities that are available, because today a dollar can get you 1,000 Satoshis, about 1,100 at 90,000. Obviously, as the price goes up, you get less and less. So maybe don't see it as like maybe $50 can't really get me anything because it's so expensive, but look at it in terms of how many Satoshis can I get with $100? You can get a lot, and it's going to, since it's deflationary, it's going to increase in value over time. So yeah, so that's my take. Hope that's helpful. And yeah, I'll be talking a lot more about crypto and blockchain because I feel it goes hand in hand with real estate and land, because these are two assets and they merge together very well. I mean, you can have land where you can build mining farms on, and over time I'll be sharing more about blockchain as well as other blockchain platforms that exist. Bitcoin is not the only one. There are others, for example, like Ethereum, where you can build apps on, which are called dApps, like decentralized apps, which is essentially you just need to know coding and programming, JavaScript or Python, and you can build a company, a blockchain company. So if you guys are out there that are watching this and you're like 20, 25, 30, 18, whatever, young, or even old really, you can take the time to learn a programming language, and you could one day have your own blockchain company, and you would be very early in the market, and you would do very well. All right, peace.